Okay, so these are 10, I think, essential maintenance exercises for people doing a lot of cycling. As you may or may not know, I'm training hard as a cyclist right now, and these are the kind of things I use to keep my body healthy and enable myself to push and train hard and put lots of hours on the saddle. So I start with foam rolling on the quads. Essentially, this is just some trigger point release work. I move slowly up and down the quads on the foam roller, and if I find a place that's a little sore, I kind of just hang out, try and relax the whole time, just nice, easy breathing. I also work 3 different angles. I'll do the front of the quad, sort of 45 degrees, and then all the way onto the side. And I move all the way from the hip right down to the knee, nice and slow. Obviously do both legs. After that, I use this as a bit of a low back release. Sometimes your back gets tight when you're in the saddle a lot, so I put the foam roller right across my low back, and I bring the legs up in the air, and I just try and make them feel weightless. So they're just kind of balanced nicely. My hip flexor shouldn't be doing any work. And I just sit in this position and let my lower back lengthen and relax. It's actually really comfortable when you sit here for a bit. And then from here, I use this and add what I call a passive hip flexor stretch. So I pull my knee to the chest, and then I just let my other leg completely relax and let the weight of my leg stretch my hip flexor. And you just sit here for a little while. Again, do both sides. After that, I prefer to use a softball for this, but I'm going to do a little trigger point work for the glutes. So if I'm doing my left leg, I like to bring the left heel up. It kind of exposes the outside of your glute a bit. And then I roll on top of the softball until I find the really sore spots, like this one. And I just sit there, breathe, let it relax, and feel the muscle let go. Try a whole bunch of different spots. Don't just sit in one spot. You can work all along the hip. So after I've done my trigger point stuff, I'm going to do some rotation work. So what you want to do is have your hips at 90 degrees. I use this hand here just to help keep my knees down. And all I'm trying to do is open the body up. Now you can use this hand to pull on the ribs. You can do shoulder sweep motions with your opposite arm. I like to just find the place where I get a good cross-body stretch, and then I turn my eyes and look at my hand, add a few rib pulls, just hanging out here, opening up the body, again doing both sides. After that, I do a little bit of yoga work, so downward facing dog, moving into upward dog, just getting that spinal extension and flexion. Nice relaxed breathing, and I just work through here however many times I feel like I need. The next one, downward dog again. It's stepping forward into a lunge, and I'm just trying to let my hips sink as low as you'll go. Just relax, take your time. Back to down dog. Forward lunge on the other side. Again, I'm doing as many reps per side as I feel that I need. On that day, it's always kind of different. After I've done those, I'm going to do what's called a press with a shoulder reach. So, I'm in this position here. 90 degrees, hips, knees. Then I'm going to rotate all the way around so my chest is forward of my front leg. So it's kind of a tricky one to get into. And a lot of times you're going to have to just hang out here because you're going to feel the stretch kind of all over the place. From this point, once I've relaxed enough, if my left leg is forward, I take my right arm and I'm going to reach underneath behind my other hand. So you can see it's a pretty big stretch. And I'm just going to hang out here. Notice how both arms are straight, elbows are locked out. So you spend a little bit of time there, unwind slowly, do the other side. After that, I'm doing what's called a shin box. Essentially, I'm sitting on the ground. If I look at my shins, the two of them together make a 90-degree angle. I'm going to have my hands, photo bomb, I'm going to have my hands behind me here. I'm just going to sit into this position here. I'm going to feel a good quad stretch. And to increase the stretch, I'm just going to push the hips to the sky. And then relax. I do this however many times I need, both sides. After that, I use a pillar or a doorway. And I'm going to do some leg lowering. So the closer your butt is to the pillar or in the doorway, the more stretch you're going to have on your hamstring. And I bring both legs up tall. Slowly lower my heel to the ground. Face, everything relaxed. And I do again as many reps as I need. Also the other side. And then I finish it off with just a little bit of core stability work. It's super important to be strong in your core when you're cycling. So I like to use a plank. And what I do is I just throw in a whole bunch of different limb lifts, attempting to not rotate my hips at all. Try those 10 maintenance exercises at least 3 times a week and you'll be adding miles to your cycling and be healthy.